Hey guys, it's Francine Simone, and this is my book discussion on A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Now, I know I haven't really done those like breakdowns in a long time, mainly because I wasn't really inspired to with the other books, but this book, y'all, this book inspired me to break this shit down, dissect it, look at it piece by piece, watch things go here and there, because there is a lot in this book to really go over. So first off, I want to say if you've never read this book and you want to read it, probably don't watch this video. It's going to be full of spoilers. I'm not saving anything. You can watch my other video that is just a review and spoiler free, and I will link it in the iCard up here. So I'm just going to be all over the place in this one. The main thing I really want to talk about this book is Feyre, is them sexual situations, is that crazy beastly shit, is the ending, is all that crazy, is that born 66% of the book through. Like, why did it take it here? Why did I have to get to here for that book to get interesting? Like, that's mainly what I'm going to talk about. So I'm just going to meld it all in one. And hopefully this video is a lot shorter because of it. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Let's just talk about Feyre. Let's ignore that 66% of the book that was super fucking boring. I do want to say that I wish that, like, Feyre had, like, seen all the other fairies before that, and we could have explored that world and the magic of that world during that first 66% of the book, where all she did was talk about painting, even though she wasn't painting, and all she did was talk about ripping people to threads and ribbons and being all scared and lurking around corners and shit. Like I was so bored with all of that because, I mean, how can you enjoy lurking around corners in the dark? I mean, Homegirl is reminding me of like that, like an ignorant peasant who can't do nothing, don't do nothing, and she'd just be staring all doe-eyed in the dark corners. And you're like, girl, just do something. Just go somewhere. Stop. Stop. So let's just fast forward past that book where obviously her and Tamlin are getting closer together. You know what, personally, I didn't really like Tamlin all that much, even though they are both really well 100% developed characters. I just didn't like him because, one, Feyre is unreliable. I was like, this girl is hot and cold on this. She's all conflicted, which is understandable. This is a very conflicting situation. But Tamlin was just a creeper the whole time. He would just be popping up like, you want to come riding with me? And I was just like, dude, like, why are you so thirsty? Guys, disclaimer, I watched Beauty and the Beast like maybe 2 or 3 times way back when I was 8. I don't remember nothing about no curse. But anyways, fast forward, we get to her wanting to throw herself on the table, all like, take me now. And then Rice comes in. I'm calling him Rice for personal reasons. Rice, he comes in and he's all like, this girl, she wants you between them thighs. And then we get to that amazing new adult sex scene that was in this YA genre. Guys, I was not expecting that whatsoever. I said it in the other video, and I will say it time and time again. I'm really disappointed in Bloomsbury children's books because this is not a children's book. I would have been fine with sex being in it. Like, she was having sex with Isaac and stuff. It did fade to black a lot with Isaac. Is that his name? But this one, I want to reiterate that the difference between an explicit sex scene and a scene that has sex in it is explicit sex talks about the actions. It focuses on the action so we can experience it in a very voyeuristic type way, just like when you watch porn. And you were to see it on screen the way that it happens, if you're seeing a penis go inside and out and fingers going places and mouths going to places, that's explicit. If you know that someone is having sex and they're having some type of emotional thoughts and occurrences about it, and very vaguely we understand that he's touching stuff and that things feel great and this is feeling like this and it feels like that, that's sex happening like you would watch on primetime television or maybe paid cable, where you see people rolling around on the bed, you can see legs, maybe you see a butt, you see things, but you do not see the explicitness going on. You don't know that them fingers are going there. Maybe it's alluded to that somehow, like he comes crawling up and you're like, oh, dang, that happened. But no, you don't see it, and you definitely don't feel it. So I just have to get that off my chest for the third time while talking about this book. I am, again, really, really, really disappointed that this has been marketed that way, because this is next to Cinder, y'all, and reading my fairy tale retellings, when I was reading Cinder, ain't no shit like that happen in Cinder. Now, pretend like this book is in the new adult section and not just talked about like it's new adult. I really did enjoy that aspect of it. I thought it added to that hot mess. Especially, I know a very controversial scene is the spring festival where Tamlin essentially like attacks Feyre in the kitchen because this dumb bitch went down to the kitchen to get food, even though everyone told her, stay in your room, he's gonna be rapey, and you're not gonna like that. She went down to the kitchen. Something tells me she was looking for something. She was looking for something. She was all mad about them other women lined up and shit, and she was hot bothered, and she was like, no, no. This is why this book is a hot mess, because there was clearly some boundaries that were extremely blurred there. I couldn't really say that Feyre did not want that to happen, and I couldn't really say that Tamlin was not being aggressive. There's definitely a lot of sexual aggression, and there was definitely a lot of ambiguity in whether Feyre was cool with that, because moans were had, hips were shimmied, and she certainly seemed happy about it the next morning when she was sporting that bruise, talking about, he's a pig. Like, there are different types of sexual relationships that people have. I think, one, this is a little unhealthy. I think, two, consenting adults being like, I like to be, pursued aggressively. You should do that. That's perfectly fine. But this wasn't like that. And wow, how messy this slope is gonna get. I can tell this is someone's feeling a bit possessive, and someone's probably not gonna like that in the long run. But she's making that bed, ain't she? She's making that bed. As far as the other characters go, I thought all the other characters were really well done. I loved Lucian and Alice, and I loved Nesta afterwards once we realized that she's not as shitty of a sister as she was before, even though that bitch still kind of shady. I really liked the way all of that was done. I liked how I liked how her home situation was just so fucked up. I mean, this chick does not know what a healthy relationship is, let alone a healthy sexual relationship. With Isaac, she had no emotional attachments, and I don't think that is bad at all. I think that that's her. She can have casual sex if she wants to. However, I think that just aids in the fact that because she hasn't had an emotional connection with someone that she's had a sexual relationship with, the first emotional connection she has with someone, she may not be willing to separate that in sex long enough to really have a conversation about that person, about what's okay, what's not okay, etc. So I can totally see how she just has these unhealthy kind of relationships just build up and happen because she was never taught anything about a healthy relationship, just as much as she was never taught to read. Now, going on that, because that reminded me of our character Rysand. I mentioned in my spoiler-free review that I loved his character, and I do, guys. I love morally ambiguous characters because with them always comes something very interesting. It always makes me think about the way that people behave and whether intention overrides a consequence or whatever. I mean, in that scene where he's like pulling at her bone and twisting it around, and then she like essentially has to say, yes, I don't want to die, so I'll be yours for a week every month. I know a lot of people are really disgusted and don't want any type of relationship to come from there. I personally don't care either way because Feyre's stupid, so it probably will happen. I don't expect it not to. But I love how he like does these horrible things, and I love how this whole time he's been using her in order to save his own kingdom and to save himself, and it looks like by the end he is like mated to her. I like that whole turn of events because it's so fucked up, it's so bizarre. I just want to see how that happens, what that turns out to be, and I will be really disappointed in the next book if either Feyre doesn't put her foot down and be like, you are a horrible fucking human being, Fairy, and I really don't appreciate what you did to me. That's essentially how you make boundaries and people respect you. If she doesn't do that and he changes, I'm going to be mad. If she doesn't do that and he doesn't change and it goes downhill, I'm going to be laughing and I'm going to be reading that like... So I'm really interested to see how that turns out. As far as the plot goes, I think in villain Amarantha, like, what is with her name, first of all? Second, I really didn't like the way that was done because I thought she was kind of like this huge, like, end-all be-all villain, and Feyre was like, love, and then she, like, snapped Feyre's spine, killed her, and then Tamlin stabbed a knife through her face. Like, I was just like, this seemed really neatly tied up. Like, what kind of villain is that stupid? Like, if she's smart enough to trick all these fairies into taking their powers, how is she not smart enough to make a harder riddle for Feyre, or to make like those trials really like it would take divine intervention for you to survive. These trials are really just me tricking you into torturing yourself. Like, that's what I expected, not like a giant worm to go after her, even though that was interesting. I didn't expect I don't even remember what the second one was. Oh, it was a riddle that she had to read and then pull a lever. I was like, like, I get it. Lucian's on the other side about to die. You're about to die, and you pull a lever and you have to know how to read. Like, it just didn't inspire me. I did, however, like the third one where she had to kill these people she didn't even know. I did think that they were going to be people that she knew, but I really enjoyed the fact that she was murdering people that she didn't know. I know it feels like it was a waste at the end because she says the end of the riddle. I would have preferred that she would have failed at the riddle anyways, or because she is connected to Ryson, somehow he's able to communicate it to her or whatever. I don't know. I don't care. I just think that the whole riddle thing really just killed everything that happened before that. But I did love that third trial because, you know, people was put in a fucked up situation and they had to make a choice, and she made that choice and she killed those people. And I love how it haunts her going into the second book. I think that's really, really done well, and I really enjoy that because I am like moral ambiguity, like freak. I love stuff like that. So I thought that was really done well, but I did not think that the villain was, or that plot at the end, especially not to be riding 66% of that horrible first part of the book on, even though it did make sense and it worked. I felt a little cheated by the villain. Now that world building, what the fuck is with all these fairies? I don't even know. Like Allison, she's walking around like a tree. I don't know what these people look like, what they are. There was like the bogey and the naga, and there's all sorts of weird like creatures, and I wish that it was a little bit more understood, or a little bit more like, I didn't understand the difference between a fae, a high fae, and then like a high lord fae. Like, they all seem to look different and they had different class systems, but I just really didn't understand it all that well. And I thought she would have developed that in the first part of the book. I think that would have made her world that much better, that much on point. I understand that Feyre had to like be kept from a lot of it, but I don't know, that just really bothered me. But I've seen it done a lot better in middle grade. So I think that's what really gets me, is like reading things like 13 Treasures. I've seen it dealt with differently, and I've been sucked into the world better in those instances. And in this instance, it was just very dry. It was very gray, except for scenes like the festivals, like the one where Tamlin's playing the violin. I thought that was so cute. I thought it was adorable. I was really like in it. Like, sometimes I just went from like reading words on a page to really like seeing the scene, and it was very colorful. And I thought that was really beautiful and really well done. I just wish it was like that all the time. Can I mention, bitch, stop painting shit with your fucking words. I swear to God, like, shit would be happening. Like, I'm about to die. I could paint those eyes. I'm about to kill this person. I could paint that look of death on their face. Oh my gosh. They're so strange looking. I could never paint those colors. I just wanted to kill myself sometimes, or her, and just be like, stop. Like, I like painting too, but damn, girl, do you have to be obsessed with it? And then on top of that, shredding bitches to ribbons. Like, I've seen so many ribbons in this book. Like, I halfway expected to open this book and then like ribbons just like pop out, like pooh. Like, so many people were shredded. I just kept seeing red ribbons everywhere, and I just didn't. It lost its impact after the first time it was said on like page, I don't know, like 1. So this is totally not like any of my other breakdowns, because I think because I really enjoyed this book a lot, and it's just so messy. I guess I'm being messy about it. And I have a lot to say about the sexual content on the book and how that played out and how I feel about all of that. And I'm also, my voice is going hoarse. And I just feel like I'm all over the place, because I really am. I don't even know if this is a good enough review. Let me down below if this doesn't make sense and I should just take it down and do it again. But guys, this book, I do want to say my final thoughts are, this book should not be taken as a gold standard on what anything healthy looks like. This book is written in first person, and I mentioned this in the discussion that I have about sex in YA, is people need to take themselves out of the narrative. This is not about you. This is Feyre's perspective. I think that we aren't meant to see these people in a good light necessarily. It's just their story. Is Tamlin a good guy or not? He's probably somewhere in between. I thought he was a creepster. Is Rysand a good guy or not? No, he did a lot of fucked up shit, and he did a lot of fucked up shit for a good reason. He's somewhere in that middle called moral ambiguity. He's not good or bad. None of these people are good or bad. Feyre's killed people. Is she good or bad? Like, this is clearly not some type of fairy tale as in Aesop's tales where we're supposed to learn stuff from it. But I do think it is a great book to have a discussion about all of these moral ambiguities and all these people and the fucked up ways that they do things and live. That being said, I did go out and buy the second book right away because I was like, I really need the second book and I need to start reading it. And especially Whitney was telling me about page 22 and how that was crazy and how it gets even crazier throughout the book. So as soon as I finished this, it was like early in the morning, I switched over, grabbed the other book, read to page 22, 23, 24, I fell out and died. That definitely does not belong in the young adult section. Like, no, things were done and then things were eaten after things were done. And what I just said is rated G versus what happened on that page and what was described at length on that page. That was straight up erotica on that page. And I cannot believe that that is in the young adult section. However, despite that, what I've read so far of the book is amazing. So I'm not mad at Mass at all, because she ain't got no control over where these books are placed on the shelf. But now I have to end this so I can go read. It's really, 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 I need to read that book. I'm excited. So I will see you on Twitter and in the comments. TTYL to talk for now. Bye!